Hello. Hi. How are you? You're good? You had a burger today? All right. Short. Short. So we didn't establish a more typical Enjoyers Committee plan last time. And then at some point, Dave and I were talking about this, and we decided to do this. So this is what we're doing tonight. We can also figure out what we're doing for regular Enjoyers next week. No, I said there wasn't a plan. Specifically said there wasn't a plan. Oh yeah, we did do some discussion about that. We didn't settle on it, I don't think. But we did have a little list of underwater films, yeah. The Abyss, Leviathan. I don't know what's all on the list. Did we get the Sphere on there? Deep Blue Sea. uh, let's get Dave in here. Howdy, howdy, howdy. How are you doing?
I'm riding the high of CS earlier. That was fun as fuck.
That was. I would like to do more.
Me too. I did get progressively worse with each round, though.
I don't think it was that any of us got worse. I think it was
No,
that.
Justin came online and whatever team he was
Yeah.
on simply won.
Yeah. Yeah, he activated and it was over for us.
Yeah, I would say easily 90% of the times I died in the final round, it was Justin who killed me.
Same. He was a laser. That just made me want to play more, though.
Yeah. Yep. Eli was floating trying to like 5 stack at some point, and I'm so fully on board for that.
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, for myself, at my usual time, any day of the week is fine, other than, ironically, Sunday Gun Day.
The one day you cannot fire a gun outside of the prescribed limitations.
Yeah. That's like teetering, I will say. Like Craft On is giving me all the reasons to like I should like run from their game. Like when they
Okay,
announced they were
hear me out.
yeah.
What if that turned into a 5 stack for CS?
Well, that's what I kind of thought might happen. But that particular group, it's mixed on CS, unfortunately. I like my little gun crew on Sunday nights.
That's fair. It's fair that you like them. It's not fair that they're mixed on CS.
I can see it. It's not for everybody. CS is like it's sweaty in a different way. But I have a soft spot for it because I used to play all the time back in the day.
I played a little 1.6 and then fucking tried to get back into it with Go because Justin tried to do something similar like a few years ago, but we just I say a few, it was like 7 years ago. But we just couldn't wrangle up enough people that were like down for it at the time.
Yeah. I think Go was also kind of
Yeah, but it was also the only horse in town for it. So like you if you
True.
wanted to do it, that's what you did.
True, 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 true.
So the logistics of how we're watching this.
Yes.
Are you able to stream it via Discord?
No. I don't know what's up with that, but I just can't get it to work. So we're gonna have to do the classic 3-2-1 go, I think.
Oh, for a 2 hour thing, that's gonna be fucking miserable. Why are you doing this to me?
It should be
Why do you
fine.
hate me? Why do you hate me?
No, it should be fine. We just can never pause. And we if we are gonna have any thoughts about anything, we just have to, talk over the thing. Let me see
You're
one
the
more time
worst.
if there's anything I can do about it. But it just won't. It's unfortunately
What are you
probably
capturing?
well, it's probably because I'm on my year of the Linux desktop. So there's probably some limitation because of that. Let me see.
It can't
Share.
do like a screen cap at all with Linux?
It probably can, but it's not working as nice and easy as it did on Windows, I have to admit.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. We got a Linux guy to admit
Got.
Windows is superior in one aspect.
See, like technically this should be it. It's the device that I'm capturing with. Oh yeah, and I'm also Mr. Two Computers, right? So like I have the double trouble issue of I have to be capturing a capture card. I can't just capture what's going on my computer.
Gotcha. Yeah, it is just a loading image.
God damn it.
Stream failed to start.
Stream failed to start. See, now that's probably because the device is in use. Is there any other way that I can do this? What other way can I do this?
So let me ask you this. You're doing two computers. Is your Discord on the stream PC or on your
It's on the
main
stream
PC?
PC. it's the
Okay.
it's the configuration no one else does.
And then so I assume you are running
My mic to the
the,
stream
the
PC, yeah.
but the YouTube video on your main PC?
Yes. I could try to stream, yeah, I could try to stream from
I was gonna
my
say, well, what I was gonna suggest was if you do a preview of your OBS and capture that through Discord instead of trying to go for the window itself and the capture card, does that work?
it might. But I am being also told of SyncTube, which might be maybe just an easier.
I know there's also like Watch Together or something like that, which is what the Chapo guys do for when
Ah,
they're watching their bad, horrible men.
right. Huh. Well, this actually might be cool in the sense of that we could, well, hmm, like even chat could be synced up watching on their end, although that might be confusing for them listening to the stream.
Yeah, because then they'd have to mute streamer. They'd be hearing double, but with a however many second delay.
Yeah. Let me send you this link. Let's see how this is. Maybe it's not bad. Really stuff that I should have figured out before going live, but
Man, fuck it. Whatever. We spent 45 minutes figuring out how a CS server works today. Who cares?
we did do that. We did do that.
I do
Okay.
appear to be in.
Nice. I'm the Super Sparrow. You're the Bright Onyx.
I'm the bright Oryx,
Oh,
excuse me.
Oryx. I'm so sorry.
I'm not some fucking Pokemon.
Right. All right. Now, how do I add videos to our lovely room? It's just showing me that there's an empty place. Oh, it says enter media URL here up at the top. Okay, cool. So this is, if this works, this is great because I can even make like a playlist for all 3 parts.
Oh, there it is. The first part has popped up.
Excellent, dude. Thank you,
Uh,
legend.
between part 1 and part 2, have you ever watched the original A Realm Reborn trailer?
I don't know. Let's add it.
Bet
I'll add it in
between
there.
part 1 and part 2 added in.
Okay. A
I will have
realm.
significant, background info on it too for chat to sort of this story is interesting because I think it is cool in that it is a rare glimpse into a Japanese game company that as a business practice, they are notoriously closed doors. It is
Right.
an admission of failure from them that they are letting someone else outside do the video about.
Yeah.
It is the rebirth of a game that does not typically happen. The only comparable one I would say is Fortnite. Um, and it is a story fundamentally about game preservation, but in a way that is different than what we usually think of as game preservation. Because instead of having the ability to play the old game, it is they turned the old game into myth and made it the basis for the new good game.
Yeah. Shit. I kind of wanted to add the original trailer in as well, but I don't know how to remove the first video in the playlist.
There's no
Um,
way to like reset it.
Now that I see, I'm looking, but no. If I click on playlist, it just says nothing upcoming.
Weird.
Yeah, it's fine. We don't need to watch that one. Sir, there are a number of Realm Reborn trailers. There's a new beginning. There's end of an
Um,
era. There's launch trailer.
it should be End of an Era.
Okay,
That's the one from like 13 or 14 years ago, right?
all of the ones I mentioned are, but it is the one with the most views, so it's probably the one you want. So let me copy that link. Get that in here. There we go. Okay.
Okay, A New Beginning is the one that got stuff tacked onto it to become a trailer for ARR. End of an Era is the one I'm talking about.
Okay.
I will tell you why when we get there.
Okay. Cool, 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 cool. Yo, the sync tube's pretty nice. I like this. This is good. Okay. So then we should now be able to watch together. And we can pause if you want, and we can talk shit out. Good to go?
The pausing I'm more concerned about for having to piss because my
Oh, yeah.
diabetic ass do be pissing.
Fair. That will happen. All right. Let's launch it. Let's do it. Oh, yeah. And also let me stop that stream. I'm not streaming. There we go.
I'll fucking log out of Final Fantasy 14.
I'm so sorry.
Making me log out of Final Fantasy 14 to do other Final Fantasy 14.
To do Final Fantasy 14 archaeology.
I was there. I'm not an archaeologist. I lived this.
The witness.
I am a 2009 alpha tester for Final Fantasy 14.
My God. I thought I was cool. I was there for one day at the beginning.
I'm a legacy player. I pay less than everyone else does to play this game because Yoshi P felt so bad about what he made me do.
All right, you ready to start?
Yes, sir.
All right, kicking it off.
Hello and welcome to
Whoa, what in
Shinjuku
the world? Holy shit.
Dancing Robots and Square Enix.
Okay,
one of the
this
most
is,
prolific
Nothing
video
has happened for me.
Nothing has happened for you?
No.
Okay. So on my end, it just jumped to the first chapter for no reason. So that wasn't good.
Okay, it has started playing for me.
Okay. So I
And
have it.
paused again when you paused it.
Okay, good. Good.
Are you able to turn on
I am.
subtitles? Okay, make sure you follow their subtitle instructions.
Yes. Well, I'm turning on full. So it should have English and the Japanese speakers.
Okay.
Hopefully. But I don't love that it jumped ahead immediately and that you were getting nothing at first. I'm hoping now it will work again. Let's see. I just hit play.
Yep, it's playing.
Okay, thank goodness. Oy.
Square is buried deep into the culture of Japan. Originally a spin-off from Masafumi Miyamoto's father's Powerline construction firm, for over 30 years its games have helped power the rise of Japanese games development. There are no shortage of games that live under the Square Enix banner, but none as big as Final Fantasy. From our Western perspective, there's an air of mythos around the company.
I have that box.
The accepted truth behind the series
And that
title
box.
is that it was named Final Fantasy as it was Square's make or break game to avoid impending bankruptcy. And even if the real answer has more to do with creating an acronym that could be pronounced by both Eastern and Western audiences, it's that first story that gets told. That's the legacy of this series. Stories about adventures that get passed from generation to generation, as nearby as the arcades of Akihabara and as far as the playgrounds of Europe. As the Final Fantasy series has moved from numeral to numeral, there have been high points and low, but with each new game comes the promise of a new story, a new myth. The story of what happened with Final Fantasy XIV is one such myth. What we know about it comes from old reviews, archived message board threads, and through conversations with those who were there. The reason for this is that the original version of Final Fantasy XIV doesn't exist anymore. Unlike the vast majority of other old games, there is no way of playing it. It was redacted, painted over. Where once stood a game that threatened to sink the Final Fantasy brand forever, now stands the second most popular subscription MMO in the world. And as the years pass us, the myth of that original version and its incredible redemption story are at risk of disappearing. How did it all happen? How did the same studio that shipped a broken mess turn it all around in 2 years? Why did they make the decision to keep the old version still alive while secretly working on a brand new game? And how did they manage to make all of this, the redesign and rebirth, part of the game's lore? We knew this was a story worth telling, not only for those who were there to see it all go down, but for the millions of you who have never heard about this, who never knew the extraordinary lengths the development team went to save this game. So we did just that. Pack your bags, friends. NoClip is heading to Tokyo.
I don't think there's another dev team, studio even, where I know the names of so many members of it and am willing to give them so much latitude with respect to I will like reserve judgment until I see what they actually do than this. It like genuinely is earned trust.
Yeah. I don't know if the glitching is like stylized.
It's intentional, yes.
Okay. I can't believe how Final Fantasy 11 that looked.
Oh
The
yeah.
early game. I think maybe I didn't jump in until after the rebirth.
It's very possible. The game was terrible at launch, and it got rightfully reviewed very poorly as is.
I'm going to pause this very briefly here to quickly investigate.
If they are simply talking about the glitches, I'm going to set your chat on fire.
No. I was staring at my capture and it was doing
Gotcha.
a thing. I think, unfortunately, y'all, I think this is probably. Oh no, wait. The fix is this. I remember the fix. It was tearing, that would be obnoxious for them over time. But this should be good now. Keep.
Well then, don't count your chickens before they hatch. I can find other reasons to set you on fire.
Hello and welcome to Shinjuku, Tokyo, home of Godzilla, restaurants full of dancing robots, and Square Enix, one of the most prolific video game companies in the world.
For the past few months, I've been playing catch-up with this story, playing the latest version of the game, talking to players, and watching community retrospective series like the Speakers Network's fantastic fall and rise of Final Fantasy XIV. My goal, to make sure we asked the right questions when we sat down with the team. During our time here in Shinjuku, we're going to talk to everyone from the engineers who worked on the original game, to localization leads, community managers, and even the CEO of the company. All to allow them the opportunity to tell
Unfortunately,
their side
no longer
of
the
this
CEO.
fascinating
Now
story.
there's a weird
The
AI
fall and
bro.
rise of Final Fantasy XIV happened in real time in front of millions
That's
of
awful.
people around the
I
world.
hate to hear that.
But we wanted to know about this story from entirely new perspective.
14 prints
from
them money,
inside
so he
the
keeps
corporate
giving
machine
Yoshi P
that made
leeway
it
to do
happen,
whatever he
that led
wants.
to its terrible
So
launch, and ultimately its
I'm not
incredible
saying
rebirth.
much at this stage.
My name is
Yeah, it's also
Michael
not unique to
Christopher
them.
Koji Fonks. I am the English localization lead for Final Fantasy XIV. And my middle name being Koji, it's not something I gave myself. It's a name my father gave me. My father was stationed in Japan for 2 years in the Navy when he was young. Went back to the States. My mom had me. They wanted to give me a Japanese name. The family was having none of that, so they kind of snuck it in the middle name. But then they always called me Koji, and so I guess the joke was on the rest of the family. You know, my dad being in the Navy didn't really learn a lot about Japan, other than he really liked Japan, but didn't learn any of the language. So I always knew that my name was Japanese, but beyond that, I really didn't know anything about Japan. But there was always that little seed in there. And then when I got into high school, there's a Japanese class, and I like games. Oh, they make games in Japan. Hey, let me study Japanese. If I study Japanese, I can play all those cool Japanese games that never come out over in America.
He's one of so many of us.
When I graduated from high school,
He truly is.
I took a trip to Japan for 3 weeks, homestay type of thing, and I fell in love with it. And during that period,
Since
I got to
this,
visit a
he
lot
has
of
become the
schools,
localization lead on the
and
game.
a lot of English classes in
Well,
those
the
schools. And I thought,
localization
wow,
is
I could
incredible.
probably I know English. I could do
Yep.
this. This will be easy. It wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be, but I studied a couple years at a university in America, then transferred over to Japan, started over 4 years at a university in Japan.
Wow.
Got my teaching license, and yeah.
It's hard work being a teacher.
Yes, I mean, I loved it, but I mean, it was very draining. And that's why pretty much after you'd go to school 6 in the morning for morning basketball practice, because I was the basketball coach, because as my principal said, hey, you're tall, you're the basketball coach. Then you'd get into classes. I mean, I'd have my homeroom class, then I'd have, 6 or 7 other classes teaching. Then you'd have after school, all of a sudden it's, oh, there's after school basketball. And then you'd get home and you'd correct. So I was really, always at school every day. It was very draining. And I would go home and I would play FF11. It was how I was able to relax, and being able to go into my little room and turn off the lights and put on my headphones and get into that world of Vana'diel was something that helped me escape from the stress. And then it just happened to be, one day I was online, checking for 11 related information, and I saw that Square Enix was hiring, looking for a translator, and it just kind of, wow, that would be really cool.
The dream. To check their
Koji
job
wasn't
board
alone.
and
Final Fantasy
have the skills
14
they're
was
looking
launched
for.
in 2010, but the story
Yeah,
of this
magically.
game starts 8 years
Yep.
earlier with the launch of Final Fantasy XI, Square's first MMO, the early days of online. Many of the team who worked on 14 started on 11. One of those was Kasuga-san, who joined the company in 1999 to build a network infrastructure for this fledgling MMO.
自分はネットワークとサーバー担当で入っていて、なので一番最初にやっていたのが、当時プレイステーション2で初めて、厳密にはドリームキャストがその前にあるんですけれども、プレイステーションプラットフォームとしては、オンライン要素が入った初めての時期だったので、
Yeah, this whole process was
ネットワー
fucking
クを作る
wild.
ために、
Oh yeah.
TCP/IP のドライバーを作ったりとか、
You had to get the hard
まだ
drive,
当時モデム
kit,
通信の時代だったんで、
and bolt this fucking massive
あと
wart onto the back of your
ADSL がちょうど普
PS2.
及したりし始めた時期だったんで、
I remember trying to
ADSL
explain this to my
とか
parents.
TPP とかっていうその本当にネットワークの下の部分
And then they were
まあ今だと
willing to buy
あんまし誰
me
も書かないようなところを
the
書くっていう
modem
担当で
attachment,
入社
but
して
not the hard drive
まあ
stuff.
But you needed that for Final Fantasy XI, didn't you?
初めて、オンライン
Yes, so I got it on
あの
PC
MMORPG
instead.
Ah, yes.
初めてだったんで、いやもう正直いろんなことがありましたよ当時ね。こんな言っちゃっていいのかな？言っちゃっていいの？OK なの？あ、いいんだ。まずね、どういうことがあったかというと、あの時はMMO とかね、海外で例えばウルティマとかそういった先行事例あるんだけど、基本的に PC ですよね。ところがだからコンシューマー機でやるなんてもう無謀の極みだとかってね、もうたくさんそういうふうに言われました。ソニーさんがPS2 のハードディスク BB キットなんかもですね、もう何台出すんだとか安藤がそういうのを吸ったもんだしていろんなことがありましたんで、ほとんど不可能だとかでよく言われてましたよ、実際には。成功なんて。
11 was my first MMO. I hadn't played one before. I remember purchasing the PlayStation 2 broadband unit because they were all sold out. I ended up paying double on like some Yahoo auction or something like that. Ridiculous, but
Oof.
I had to play it. We got a new internet connection. We were on a regular modem at that time, but because we needed a new modem, we had to upgrade to ISDN 128. But yeah, it was definitely worth it. It was something that was completely new to me, but fascinating. And ever since then, I've been into MMOs. That was the gateway drug for me. Going in from FF11 and then trying some of the Western MMOs as well. Getting into World of Warcraft, seeing the differences between the two.
Personally, I think it's very different. I mean, here in Japan from the Western market because, yeah, it is for everyone in the globe. I mean, it's very first MMORPG on the console, PlayStation 2, and also, I mean, it was the first ever cross-platform MMO between PlayStation 2 and the Xbox 360. The obvious one is the most Japanese people don't really like to chat in public.
Right.
So, I mean, in the world, there's a lot of characters, but it's very quiet because people are using a tell instead of the say or shout, and then But if you go to the Western world, game world, I mean, every single one
bunch
is
of
jumping
dickheads.
around. So
Yep.
yeah, that's a huge difference.
Baron's
while
chat.
in the West, you have your EverQuests and you had your Ultima Onlines. In Japan, there was none of that. And then, so Final Fantasy XI was really one of the first MMOs in Japan. And so getting to work with basically the pioneers of the Japanese MMO was really exciting.
I never got
the
to play
other
it on the
hand,
PS2.
I mean, you could also say that it was possibly kind of a curse.
Yeah, I was
In the
PC
sense
only.
that,
I did the
they were
Xbox
all,
beta,
doing
but
their own thing. They
not
had their
for
vision of what
particularly
an
long.
MMO should be and what a Japanese MMO
Yeah,
should be.
I didn't do PC for
And then
particularly
me,
long
again,
because I just
not
didn't
having
have
played an MMO before,
I didn't have money.
getting on this team,
I couldn't
thinking,
keep
okay, this is an MMO and
paying for the
translating away and
monthly
working on
service
that
for
project.
too long.
I kind of,
I
started
think I
thinking, okay,
played
this is
for
what an
like
MMO is, this is what an MMO is. And
5
then
months
that one day
before my
I
parents
start
realized it
playing
was a
WoW, and
recurring
like,
charge
oh.
and went, no, we're not doing that anymore.
Oh, seeing the differences between the two and saying like, okay, what I thought was the norm in Final Fantasy XI, the grinding for 20 hours to go up one level and then only to have your level drop when you pull too many crabs and it kills you and you've lost 5 hours work. Like, I thought that was normal. And then you're like, well, that's not normal, is it? The Japanese base game, Final Fantasy XI, had already released, and they were working on the first expansion pack, Rise of the Zalart. I was part of the team that was working to get the base game and Rise of Zalart all translated before the Japanese Rise of Zalart was finished, so we could all release at the same time.
Right. Did you get it on time?
I got it on time. I haven't missed a deadline yet. That's one thing I'm proud of.
Final Fantasy XI was a huge success for Square Enix. It established a concurrent user base of around 250,000 players for years. It was the most profitable Final Fantasy game ever, and at one stage was the 6th most popular game on all of Xbox Live. More than that, it established the Japanese style of MMO, and when the decision was made in 2005 to start work on a sequel, the new MMO was built around things that made 11 successful, focusing, like most Final Fantasy games do, on beautiful graphics and an interesting battle system. This new game was to be directed and produced by the same duo that shipped 11, series veteran Hiromichi Tanaka and Nobuaki Komodo. Final Fantasy XIV was announced for Windows and PlayStation 3 in 2009, but behind the scenes the development team was struggling to put the pieces of its new world together.
ファイナルファンタジー14のその最初のバージョンの、自分が見た時の一番大きな問題点、最終的にそれが問題だったと考えているものっていうのは、その最初のコンセプトとしてそのプランナーがスクリプトを書くことによってゲームを作っていこう。で利点としては、プランナーが考えて自分たちで実装するんで、高速な開発ができる。要はそうじゃないと基本的にはプランナーさんものを考えて、
Yeah, it was not
開発者
good.
にエンジニアに相談してどう実装するかを決めて、でゲームデザインをする人はそのどういうパラメータをいじりたいかとかを相談しながらエンジニアと話をして、
what he's describing sounds like shit.
ですけれども、そこの部分に関してスクリプトを導入す
And
る
it's
と
the type of thing that, like,
自分で実現することができるようになる。
you should easily notice is a bad way to, like,
スクリプト
run the production of something like this, Like,
Yeah.
そのスクリプト
just when just describing it sounds that
スクリ
bad.
プ
Like,
トで書かれていて、でスクリプトを動かすエンジン側がかなり負荷が高いというか、
Oh my
CPU を
god.
たくさん使わないと動かない状態になっているんで、ちょっとした何かをするだけでも、ゲーム内で少し何かをするだけでも、
it just wait, it gets so much
リソー
worse.
スを使うことになっていて、すぐにサーバーが回るサイクルが遅くなっていくっていうことが問題として発生していました。で、結果としてそのサーバーでできる
Wait, that wasn't just client
ゲーム
side?
としてサーバーで実現できるところは少ない
No,
で
it
すし、
was the scripts were running client side and
何
server
かしよう
side.
とすると負荷が上がっちゃうんで、
Oh, no.
じゃあそれを回避するためにどうしようとかっていうことで、結果的にそのゲーム内容としてリッチなものが実現できなくなっているっていうことが起きてましたね。で UI もスクリプトで組まれていたので、なんかちょっと処理するだけでもすごい時間がかかるっていうような問題が発生してました。
Like I mentioned before, again, localization being in a position where we get to see all the parts come together first. We were some of the first to realize that, Houston, we have a problem, that type of situation. I mean, you had the battle team, they're like, yes, we have this great battle system, with stamina and these things that you could do. And then you had the story team, like, yes, we have this story. Oh, hey, we have these guild leads and all of these parts. And everyone was really, really proud of their parts. Look at this grass, it's so beautiful. Look at this barrel, it's the the most beautiful barrel ever to be, represented in graphical form.
It's got as many
And-
polygons as the character.
Yes, and all of those parts, all of these teams, again, very, very proud of their work. I mean, the team was, put together with some of the best minds in Square Enix. You had people that were, leads that could probably even, lead their own projects.
The
were
barrel
all
anecdote
come together,
is
and
literal. The
it became
barrels
a
in
lot
the
of
game
just
that were
tiny
just sitting
little
there as
groups
scenery had
making
as many
something that was really
polygons as
great.
the characters.
But once you put it together,
That's madness.
it was kind of a mess.
Yep.
And no one really knew that, except for localization and probably QA as well. And we're like, okay, we need to do something. But by then it was one of those, it's kind of too late to do anything. But for us, we would be looking at the text, and some of it, it wouldn't make sense, or it would just be very bland, and thinking, if there's any way to make this game better, what can we do? It's like, well, I can take this text and maybe add some more stuff into it, add some more flavor to it, and maybe that will distract people from the fact that the battle is not that fun.
At a fundamental level, the piecemeal design of the game was causing problems. Graphics were inconsistent. While many elements of the world were copy and pasted ad nauseum, some environmental objects had as many polygons and shaders as a character model. The battle system was just confusing. The game didn't have elements fundamental to most modern MMOs, things like jumping, auto attack, and the ability to interact with the map using a mouse. It had a system that nerfed
man.
hardcore players to make sure they didn't level up too fast. The UI was
Yeah,
confusing.
so pause
Crafting
for a
was
second.
incredibly complex
Yeah,
and
yeah.
took
That system, the stamina system, I don't think this fully goes into it, but there was a fall off to experience you could earn in a given day. And when you hit that point, functionally nothing you did in the game mattered because you were not earning EXP anymore. And it was extremely limiting. Like even a casual player could hit that cap, which made it feel like, well, why the fuck am I even playing this game? This game, mind you, where there's a million different classes and I can play all of them, but
Yeah.
I can't level any of them. Like if I make a little bit of progress on my main class,
Yeah.
insane.
This is also making me question again whether or not I played, because I feel like I remember this.
That got patched out fairly quickly. But if you were there in the first month of release, it was a shit show.
Did the first month of release look like what we're seeing right here? Or did it look a bit more close to how it looks today in terms of UI?
Graphically, it all looked like this until 2.0. 2.0 fundamentally, it totally redid everything. So,
Okay.
it's hard to say if what is being shown here is 1.0 or up to 1.23, which was the final patch before, I think 1.25 actually might have been the final patch before it got shut down for the year break to relaunch the game.
Absolutely crazy. One day
Yep.
I'll figure out when the fuck I jumped in. But yeah, that sounds like fucking shit. I mean, I don't even know why they would bother doing that. Was there such a scourge of people who were just no-lifing the game? Was that ruining it for other people?
There wasn't
or
anything to
what?
fucking do at the end game anyway, so no, because it
Right.
wasn't like you got to end game and then oh, you cleared everything and you're ruining the economy for there wasn't anything to do, there wasn't anything to craft, there wasn't anything to go there was no reason that anyone being at max level would keep playing the game essentially, other than social element. Literally the reason I stuck with the game for as long as I did is I joined, at the time it was Besaid server, and I didn't know it, but it was the unofficial RP server, because Square, there was no PvP in the game at the time. and Square didn't designate like WoW does, where it's like PvP, PvE, RP, PvE, RP, PvP, like
Yeah.
specific designation for server. But I happened to join the one that was the unofficial RP server. And as a result, the server ended up having a much bigger like community orientation to it. Like RP groups were running events that were even for like non-RPers because it was like a thing to do to just get together and play, you know, in a game
Yeah.
that like didn't really have anything for you to do. And so I met a bunch of people through that, many of whom I still speak to this day. And like, that is the reason I stuck it out in this game, was because it essentially was like a chat room for me, you know, with a bunch
Yeah.
of people that I had become friends with. But it wasn't like, you know, power leveling yourself through to endgame in 1.0, like flat 1.0, had anything for you to do at that point. So it's not like there was a drawback to having a bunch of people. And like, even so, as I said, at the time there were, I'm trying to count, I want to say there were like 11 like combat or magic or healing jobs, and then all of the crafting and gathering jobs. So it's not like even if you powered one job through, you were done at that point. You had a million other jobs to theoretically level, you know?
Right. Yeah. And that would, I mean, if there was such a cap, it would not feasibly, it would just be insane.
Yeah, it was like they got rid of that cap eventually in 1.0, but even like, because there wasn't a lot of like content to do to leveling was still a grind. It was very much in the 11 like realm of, oh, you want to level something, you got to put in a lot of work. So
Yeah.
by the time there was end game content in this, there was stuff that were like, so you having played the game now will understand this. When you queue into a dungeon, you are on the job that you queued into, right? In 1.0, that wasn't the case. Even in a dungeon, as long as you weren't in combat, you could change your job. So like when they introduced the first relic weapons in 1.0, one of the things you had to do to get the materials to make them was to speed run certain dungeons, because the 3 endgame dungeons they had, which are still in the game, they've been redone obviously, but they're still in the game.
Yeah.
Cutter's Cry, Jamel Darkhold, and Aurum Vale, right?
Mm-hmm.
Each one had 5 potential chests you could get at the end of beating the dungeon. And each of those, there was one for beating the dungeon, and then there were like requirements for the 4 other chests that you had to like complete in the dungeon. One of them was you need to clear the dungeon in a certain amount of time. I think it was like 10 minutes or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And to do that, you needed to have people who could run multiple different jobs, because the most efficient way to clear the bosses at the time was with different party compositions.
Right.
So like in my group, I was a monk main, but I also needed to be able, because monk was useful for like clearing those bosses, I also needed to be able to run warrior and black mage for like the different comps that we would need.
Right.
And so getting those 3 jobs to the point where you could run them was like a lot of work, and simply would not have been possible if this system was still in the game, you know? Like it
Right.
there just would have been no viable way to do it.
Right. That's wild. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Is that still
No.
a sort of strategy? No, that's gone.
No, because you can't change a job in a dungeon.
Oh, okay. That's just over with.
Yeah. That is gone. You are what you queue in on until the end of the dungeon.
Has obtaining the things you were talking about been replaced?
They totally redid that system.
Oh, okay,
They, like,
okay.
completely redid the system.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. That's really interesting stuff. By the by, this is slightly off topic, but I am now approaching level 40. Have met
Hell yeah.
Sid. I'm in like Dragon's Head or whatever, the sort of snowy.
The whole Kurthis portion of the
Yeah,
Okay.
post Titan.
Okay. The stuff you're doing now is set up ish for Heaven's Ward.
Oh, okay.
There will be more of it in the like post patch stuff, but like I'm sure you've run by the gates of Ishgard at this point and been like, nope, can't go in there. It's just a
Right.
bridge to nowhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, Blockington. That's happening to me too. Like the story is becoming so much more interesting.
Here's the thing about A Realm Reborn, and you are not through the slog of A Realm Reborn yet. The
Right.
patch quests become a slog. But you should think of this in the way that a fantasy novel series, like an epic fantasy novel, does a lot of table setting for the political machinations that are going to come down the line.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of stuff in A Realm Reborn and in the patch quests will seem like this is taking me away from the action, or why are we really doing this? But it all serves as a basis for understanding the world.
Yeah.
And like I understand what a big ask it is for people to bear with it, but I don't think any game ever has earned the payoffs that, for example, Shadowbringers and Endwalker specifically hit based off of, in your case, what'll probably be several hundred hours ago, versus in my case was like a couple thousand hours prior to that.
Right.
Where
yeah.
like it's bringing back stuff and referencing stuff, and like you'll feel like a fucking brain genius where you just go like, is this, hold on, is this gonna pull in that from there? And then 10 hours later you hit a point where it does and you're like, oh fuck.
Right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that very much. And I'm finding that I'm more interested in the weird little side things than I expected to be, or than I was
They
when I
made a
first
world.
jumped in. Yeah. Well, like what's kind of funny is like leading into Titan, you know, they're doing the thing where they're like, well, first of all, I'll say I'm seeing the Final Fantasy of it all.
Yep.
That's one thing. They're really consistent with that.
That's the other thing people don't believe is it is a Final Fantasy ass Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I keep doing this weird thing where I'm experiencing something in 11, and then I'll reimagine it in a top-down pixel context and be like, "Yep, this feels like it could just be, you know, like a scene out of Final Fantasy 4 or 5 or something."
Yeah, the writing team is phenomenal at that.
Yeah. But leading into Titan, you're just doing like a bunch of silly fetch quests. You're supposed to be like, I guess, proving that you're up to the task of dealing with Titan or whatever. But it's fine because I get like this is early stuff and you're still like
nobody
a baby
knows who
character.
the fuck you are. Yeah.
Yeah. But I started to care about the depth that is in the little silly quests, which I didn't before. I felt like this is. I also have an anti MMO bias, so a lot of this stuff is like I have to be chipped away at. You know, like I'm coming in with a bias.
If at this point you are enjoying it,
Mm-hmm.
just let yourself go and embrace it because you're going to love all of the shit that comes from like Heaven's Word onward.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying is that it's cracked my anti MMO shell, which I didn't think was really possible.
Again,
yeah,
Final Fantasy 14 players are fucking sickos. We know nothing can bring me the joy that playing through that story did for the first time again. And the only way I can relive that is through witnessing other people enjoy it. And like you it is not uncommon in Final Fantasy XIV circles for people to learn that a streamer they have never watched before is playing through the game again, and then to like glom on to their playthrough at that point. And like people will do, like, there are people that I've never heard of before that I currently follow because they are doing 14 playthroughs, and I will pop in to check when they're like reaching certain parts. When a friend plays through this story for the first time, it is fucking fentanyl. Like there is nothing I want. So like when I said the other day, like, hey man, like seriously hit me up, and you were like, well, I'm just trying not to be a bother. Like, no, like I want to run the dumb bullshit dungeons with you. I want to be involved in like your experience and your playthrough of this. And I'm never going to force my way into that, minus maybe a few specific instances where I will be like, I need to be there when you first do this instance. But like, if you hit me up and are like, I'm about to run X, Y, and Z, do you want to join? Barring me like literally not being able to get to my computer at that point, the answer is 100% of the time going to be yes.
Gotcha. I hear you. That makes sense. And also, yeah, you've got a choir in chat who are like, also, yes, we are sickos in exactly this way.
It's like I there's no other way to put it, because every Final Fantasy XIV player that likes the game ends up feeling the same way. And they may not always, like, it may be a situation where it's like, oh, I wasn't really feeling it until this moment, or I wasn't really, but like, the joke used to be that when the free trial ran to the end of Stormblood, was like, yeah, if you hit the fucking end of Stormblood patch quests, you're subbing to the game. Like, that's the most ingenious thing ever, because like, if you haven't gotten your hooks, it hasn't gotten its hooks into you by then it is not the game for you. And if it has, it is the only game you want to play at that point. And then you barrel into the Shadowbringers expansion, and suddenly you are faced with one of the best stories in video games. Not in an MMO, not in a Final Fantasy. Fuck it. My position on this is that, like, there are only two stories I think vie for the top spot of what is my favorite story told in any medium ever, and they are One Piece and Final Fantasy XIV.
Damn. That's so crazy.
And that is like, that is a position I have held for, what has it been, 5 years since Shadowbringers came out? Like, no like equivocation there.
That's incredible. I mean, I think if I feel even a percent of that, I'll be pretty satisfied. Particularly, again, in the case of an MMO, from my perspective. That's what's kind of I find interesting about this, is that I think this is a hard sell to people in the general case, because of the fact that it's an MMO and you just don't expect the story to be. I mean, actually, I'm probably talking out of my ass a bit there, though, because I'm not really an MMO person.
You are absolutely right. MMOs are not something that most people play for story. They play it for the end game. They play it for the dopamine rush of dinging a new level. Story gets skipped. And 14, that is not the case for most players. Like, there is a reason people are like adamant that, like, no, this is a mainline Final Fantasy game, and that comes with all of the story trappings of a mainline Final Fantasy game. It has a number for a reason.
Yeah. And it certainly does, like I said, I'm starting to feel it. Like, it is coming across, the farther I go, the deeper I get. It was really hitting when I got back to the Scions after Titan, and I was like,
Dude,
oh,
like
okay.
right now, to you, the Scions are like sort of amorphous blobs of like they're kind of developing as characters.
Yeah.
Like there's someone in Jassie's community, and I don't know if they're in your community as well, who is playing through for the first time. And she made a joke about hating Alphino in like her first 20 levels, and all of us were like, that's my child. Watch your fucking mouth.
Oh wow.
And it like I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil anything for you, but they make a very deliberate choice in paring back the cast of characters that you deal with in Shadowbringers, and I won't explain how that happens or why, but it focuses on core Scions, and you come out of that expansion with a totally different take on several of the Scions.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, I'm at the very, very beginning of that now, so that entire road is ahead of me.
I'm so excited for you.
Shall we dive back in?
I mean, I just want to address C's comment in the chat. That is a fair take in most situations. Many of these characters are like presented to you as children who you are tasked with, to some extent, overseeing their development, and there is an attachment to them.
Right. Shall we dive back in then?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Wasn't enough content. The closed beta wasn't going well. They needed more time to fix these problems, so the open beta was pushed back to within a month before launch. The team knew there were problems, and they were getting frustrated.
で、今まで話していた仕事っていうのは大体その2010年の1月から、実際にリリースされる 8月ぐらいまでの間にやっていたことで、ゲームが本当に良くないっていうのがこう、みんなに認識されて自覚されていくっていうのは結局ベータが始まって製品版が始まってっていう、8月9月10月ぐらいまでの期間に起きたことなんですね。で、実際にはこうチーム内の意識としてもリリース前、そのベータが始まる前から本当にこれをリリースしていいものかどうかっていう議論はある程度そのチーム全体でそのオフィシャルであったわけではないですけれども、開発者の中ではやはりその世に出していいクオリティかどうかっていうところは議論がありました。
When 1.0 was getting made, was the mentality that, oh, we're not like, that's like their thing and we have our very own successful thing over here, we're going to just make another one of those?
Right, and that's really what it felt like, is that we're going to continue doing what we did because it succeeded before. Why wouldn't it succeed again?
Well, because it was bad.
Seeing that direction, them taking that direction, and knowing that, having worked on 11, that yes, they were very successful. Seeing the success that they had with Final Fantasy XI, seeing these great creators, creating something that was, revolutionary. But then on the other hand, knowing that what they were doing was, but maybe that worked 6 or 7 years ago, but a lot of things have changed since then. And I think there was even one guy on the localization team that got to that point where he just got so frustrated that he just wrote this scathing mail and sent it out to the whole team before telling anyone else on localization he was going to write it. And then we all get it at the same time, the devs team. We're reading it, it's like, wow, this is really terrible. I hope he doesn't, he sent it to the whole team. Because he just got really frustrated because he could, to him, they were being very stubborn. They weren't, they hadn't moved on. whereas the rest of the world had moved on and adapted, with the release of WoW and what they had done. Whereas, the team here was like, no, we're going to stick with what we know, and that's good enough.
Then start feeling more concerning the situation. I mean, this is not fixed. You announced the launch date, but it's not fixed. So, but still, some major portion of people are still thinking, believing, no, it's better, still better. Last phase, but still better. So it could be, fixed or changed at the launch timing.
It kind of went from thinking, okay, this project's going to be great, to, there might be some problems. Can we fix them? Can we fix them? Okay, we can't fix them. Is there anything we can do? I don't know. It was,
Oh,
a very
God.
taxing experience.
The team crossed their fingers
It
and
is
hoped
fundamentally
that the game's
crazy
beta
that
problems
a
were
Japanese
simply
company
that,
opened
same
the door
issues
to
that
let them
most
do
MMOs
these
have,
interviews
ones
with
that
the
could be
dev
fixed
team
with
in their
patches
studios
once the game
to
entered
be
live
this canon.
operations. And so Final
Yeah,
Fantasy XIV Online launched on September 30th, 2010. It sold well its first week, and after a month had over 600,000 players swarming into its world. But it didn't take long for the cracks to appear. The problems in the beta were echoed by new players. The game was sluggish, the servers crashed, and Eorzeans quickly ran out of things to do. Quests were limited, and the fatigue system even made grinding for XP next to impossible. Critics ate it alive too.
Let's get right down to it. Unless you've got the patience of Job or some kind of masochist, you shouldn't play Final Fantasy XIV. Its problems are so vast that I could spend hours talking about them. The awful interface, the recycled content, the stringent limits on questing, the useless maps, the stupid market ward, these issues and dozens more constantly have you asking that age-old question, what were they thinking?
Yep.
Oh boy.
So, what was it like seeing public reaction?
Yeah, it was very, very disheartening, because you'd want to look at those and you'd want to say, no, they don't understand, they don't know, what's going on here, or but deep down, you'd know they were right, and that was what kind of, that dagger in your heart and it's twisting, because you want to defend what you worked on. The people that I worked with are the greatest people. I still work with a lot of them. I had worked with them before in FF11. I consider them not only co-workers but friends. And then you see people online, bashing the work they did, and I know how hard they worked. I know how many hours they put in. I know that, like, in the last 3 or 4 months, people
Yeah, but
were
also that
basically
that
living,
bashing was coming from
at
Final
work,
Fantasy fans who
all putting
wanted
their
this to be
100% into this
good.
game that was,
like,
destined to
Yeah.
kind of crash and burn. And then to have people online just say, oh, that sucks, this person is a piece of shit.
Well, you know
Their
how
work is
people are. They
terrible."
don't exactly.
It
Like he said,
it
they,
hurts, but it hurts
they convey
more
it
because
as this is a piece of
if I
shit.
was not here and was a user
I-
and had played that game, I
it
probably
was,
would have
though.
said the same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
そう
It's hard, like
ね
making
ま
something
あ当時
and exposing it to people and then trying to get feedback, because it's like people, you get really mixed stuff back from people, and also the cruelty that people are willing to deploy over anything for like no reason at all. is
oh, for
insane.
sure. But there's a degree to which, like, you need to write off the cruelty and look at the people who are making, like, honest criticisms, because,
Oh
like,
yeah, yeah.
the people who were there for the cruelty, most of them, I will be quite frank with you, simply left the game. The people who stuck around in 1.0 were there because, like, we loved the world, we loved Final Fantasy, and we wanted this to be good. And, like, early on, before the change in the director of the game, fundamentally it felt like no matter what you said, the reaction from the devs was to ignore it, make no comment, and then say, it's a different kind of MMO, or we're working on something for this. It really wasn't until Yoshi P stepped in that, like, it felt like there was someone listening to the fan base. And, like, to be frank, he was very candid about what went wrong with the game from that early stage. and about what their roadmap was to fix it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the joke still to this day, and even he leans into this joke, is when they're announcing something new, but they can't give full information on it yet. The phrase that gets used at the end is "please look forward to it," and like to this day, that is still a joke among the dev team, the fans, the play. Like, "Please look forward to it" became the motto of Final Fantasy XIV.
That's great.
なんでみたいなんですけれども、ローンチのタイミングやっぱ一番大きく違ったのは11の時のいろいろごたごたねと9の14の時のごたごたが一番違うっていうのは、11の時はいろいろごたごたあったけど、ゲームに関して言うとさすがに相当やっぱり相当程度やっぱり受け入れファン相当のやっぱり評価されたんですよね。でまあ、オペレーション上の、ね、トラブルとかっていろいろ多分あるっていうのは、まあ、これはある程度つきもので、まあ、大変だったんですけれども、それはあったんですけど、ゲーム内容に関して言うと非常にまあ評価されたというふうに理解してますけれども、前作の場合の一番やっぱ私はちょっとまずいなこれって思ったのは、やっぱりゲーム自体の評価が非常に厳しいものだったということですね。これはちょっとやっぱり相当大丈夫かなというのを、まあ、ローンチした後ね、やっぱりそこはね非常にリアルに感じましたね。それはそうですね、まあ、ローンチして、まあ、しばらく経って、まあ、そんなに長い期間じゃなかったですね。そうしばらくなんでやっぱり相当なこのままで大丈夫なのかという社内でも相当やっぱ議論がありましたからね。
I mean, the first few months was just an endless stream of translating apology mails from producers and directors and finding out, trying to figure out different ways of saying we're sorry, because the more you say it, the less weight it has. But Japan being a country where people apologize a lot, that's part of the culture. But then trying to translate that, it's like, okay, this is the 10th time I've said sorry in this one post, and then from the American myself, it's like, yeah, people are going to look at that as insincere. The more you apologize, the more and then trying to explain that to the team, it's like, no, we have to apologize. It's like, yes, you have to apologize, but and it just became, we weren't talking about the game anymore. We were talking about how to translate apologies, and it seemed like that lasted for a couple months.
My goodness.
Actually, we see a huge drop. I mean, right after the launching,
Yeah, it was
timing, we
rough.
got some good number of the subscribers. Again, that fall. I mean, as you can imagine. So I mean, it was failure, and we announced a failure. So we see lots of decline.
さっきも話した通り、実際にはその開発内でも今リリースすべきかっていうか、リリースできるクオリティにあるかっていうのはベータ直前とかベータが始まってもそうなんですけど、常に疑問はあったので、リリースして実際にただそれまでにチーム内にあった空気はやはり出したら意外と受け入れられる可能性があるんじゃないかっていう漠然とした出せばどうにかなるのかも、自分たちが思っているほど悪くないのかもっていう何の根拠もない希望的なものがあったんですよね。で出た結果結局そんな魔法は起きなくて、やはり自分たちが感じてる通りに
And that's fundamentally a crazy thing to think, because like it's a game, you're making it. How is it going to get better if you aren't the ones doing it?
Right. Just release it and hope,
根本的に対応しなきゃいけないっていうところはチーム内に割とすぐ広がったと思ってます。なので特にすごいそんなことはないっていう意見がすごく強くあって、誰かを説得しなきゃいけないみたいなことは特になかったですね。
Today, Square Enix is based across multiple floors in a modern office complex in Shinjuku, Tokyo. It's a company that is often designing multiple projects at once. And while Final Fantasy XIV was being developed, in another part of the building a different game was being made. Produced by a Final Fantasy fan, his name, Naoki Yoshida.
一番最初はファミリーコンピューターUS だとエンターテインメントシステムかのマリオブラザーズが一番最初にプレイしたゲームです。とにかく
he and I are the same.
テレビっていうのは見るものだと思っていた子供の時に ところがそのマリオブラザーズで初めてそのコントローラーを握ってゲームをプレイした時にまずそもそもテレビのものを自分が自由に動かせるっていうことがものすごいショックで友達の家でプレイさせてもらったんだけどものすごい興奮したのを覚えてますね。ドラゴンクエストっていう日本で RPG を大きく広めたタイトルを初めて触った時にアクションではないゲーム数字のやり取りでこんなにまたさらにゲームは面白くなるんだっていうのを
It's also one of my
特にストーリーライン
earliest
があって
games.
っていうまた次のカルチャーショックを受けて RPG っていうジャンルにものすごくなんだろうフォーカスしていくことになったかなと思います。当然その翌年に出たファイナル
I'm a little older than you.
その映画的なその演出
That's probably got something to do with it.
打ち出したっていうところにもすごい衝撃を受
Maybe
けてたので
my first console,
Probably
like at
僕の
home,
中で
was a PlayStation 1.
Oh yeah.
My introduction to games was at my cousin's house in Pennsylvania, where we'd play either Mega Man X on the SNES, I believe,
Yep.
or, and bear in mind I was 8 at the time, Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, incredible.
Yep.
Man. Yeah, that's a very different beginning than mine. Mine was the NES came out when I was 5, and my parents got it for me because it was like the hot toy item. They didn't know what it was really. So that's when they fucked
Yeah.
up.
we got a PS1 at release on like that Christmas, and my cousin got one as well. And the only games we had for it for forever was like Jumping Flash and Kingsfield.
Yo. Wow.
And then
Good start.
yeah.
Well,
And then
Kingsfield
like,
is rough.
I was still young at the time, so it was like I wasn't huge on them. But then my cousin got Metal Gear Solid the year it came out for Christmas. And I just remember us like we were there for a week, and he and I like functionally did not leave his bedroom except for food as we just like marathon through Metal Gear Solid together.
Oh God.
And that was like
That's amazing.
Foundational shit for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can imagine. So awesome. It was just what's weird for me is I don't know if like I don't know how old Yoshi P is, but it kind of seems like we might be in the same we might be around
He's
the
in
same age.
his, I want to say he's in his early 50s, late
Right.
40s or early 50s.
Gotcha. Because he's basically describing I guess I'm a bit younger than him, but I know I had a similar experience with video games. Like in the States, Dragon Quest was called Dragon Warrior, and that was my first RPG. That was the first RPG I ever played, was Dragon Warrior. It's fucking terrifying. I was scared of playing it. And it was one of the first video games I ever played, you know?
Yeah, that was me in Kingsfield.
God, yeah, Kingsfield. That's so crazy. Jumping Flash and Kingsfield is such a wild because, like, Jumping Flash.
First 2 games thrown, yeah.
Yeah, Jumping Flash is a cherished cult classic. It was not widely popular, but people look back on it like that was a cool, weird.
It was so
game.
fucking fun and so bizarre.
Yeah.
I have no idea what possessed my parents. I'm sure it was my dad. That like Christmas opened up the PlayStation 1, opened up Jumping Flash and Kingsfield. No idea why he picked those 2 games.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. Like most games are like just going to be the common ones. Like the vast majority of games that ever sell is going to be like the sports games. And
not for me.
No, yeah, of course. I mean, like, once you develop some tastes or whatever, and if you're a real video game head, then you start to have, a weirder library. I struggle with that a lot because I've thought of, you know, certain games and things I coming up I would think of as like formative, as like these are the video games, if you know what I mean when I say it like that. And as I, you know, get older and so on and have talked with people and yada yada, I realized like these weren't the video games. These were the video games for me. And I didn't realize how a lot of the things that I considered like the greatest games ever made were
But
played
so
by the fewest people.
there was an interesting statistic that came out a few years back that said like on average something like 20% of quote unquote gamers, that's not the terminology that this used, but like
Yeah.
people who purchased games purchase more than 2 games a year or something like that.
Uh-oh.
And like the track on it is that there really is, and the term has like been thrown around more recently, ball and gun gamers. It's the people who buy Call of Duty and the people who buy whatever their sports game is, FIFA, Madden, NHL, whatever.
Yeah.
And then that is the vast majority of people who are playing games on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the industry is propped up by people like us and most of your chat who like probably rarely touch those games, but buy like several other games of like varying genres and styles and themes like a month. And that is what props up the industry essentially.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. I don't know why it took me a really long time to kind of wrap my head around that, but I just thought that like everybody who was into video games would be like fully into video games, but that was like, you know, far from the case.
I think I always realized that was like, well, I won't say always because like I started when I was like 6 or 7, so it's not like I knew it then. But from the time that I was capable of like independent thought about larger concepts, you know, I kind of realized that there were sort of 2 different tracks on it. I didn't realize the like amount of people that were ball and gun gamers versus I will play anything, I love video games, you know?
Yeah. By the by, I think we're going to probably have to do a part 2.
That's fair.
Yeah, because I will have to dip at midnight here.
When you said 10:30, I was like, I don't know if we're getting through all this.
Yeah, I had stuff I had to do, unfortunately.
No, that's fair.
Yeah, maybe we circle back on like Monday. And oh fuck, I said circle back. I'm so sorry, everyone. Fuck.
I'll have to see what work looks like. But maybe.
Okay. Whenever works for you, we can do a part 2.
Word.
Look, everyone at work says fucking circle back. I can't. It's just I'm absorbing this stuff through osmosis. It's just gonna happen.
Like most Japanese players at the time, Yoshida-san played all the early Final Fantasy games. He holds them in high regard, though he still holds the bitter memory of not being able to save before the last dungeon in Final Fantasy III. But when he was 11 years old, a brand new type of gaming experience arrived at home. His uncle gave him a PC. On this PC, the young gamer learned how to program BASIC. His first video game centered around trying to break into a bank vault. But this PC also exposed him to a spectrum of gaming that eluded most Japanese players: Western role-playing games. He fell in love with games like Diablo and was stunned when he first went online and played with other players.
でその翌年にウルティマオンラインをベータからプレイし、先輩にとにかくすげえゲームあるって言われて、ウルティマオンラインをベータから始めたのが。
Oh yeah, not to derail us further, but I wanted to mention my first MMO experience was Phantasy Star Online on the Dreamcast.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's a wild one.
I think 11 was my first one.
It's a great place to start. Honestly, they were kind of similar-ish in the sort of qualities of how it felt to jump in. Although Phantasy Star Online was like way weirder. Way more limited. I did not, yeah, I missed EverQuest. And that was again mainly due to like just didn't have money. Phantasy Star Online, I don't think you had to pay. I can't remember. I don't know. I don't think there was a monthly fee to play Phantasy Star Online.
I just didn't know about Phantasy Star. Like, I knew Final Fantasy because I had played 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 at this point, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't either. I just got into it because it was a Dreamcast game. And then
Also fair.
you wouldn't have been able to play it any other way than on GameCube. So it only came out on Dreamcast and GameCube, and then that was it. I wish that they would have released a PC version of Phantasy Star Online, the original. I would fucking play that. I would pay a monthly fee to play it. Oh well.
もうプレイした作品で、やっぱり同じようなその3回目の衝撃、3000人が同時に一つの世界で遊ぶっていうのがもうとてつもないまた衝撃でしたね。まあウルティマは本当に自由度のウルティマオンラインは特にとにかく初期は自由度がめちゃくちゃ高いゲームだったので、そのいわゆるロードの称号をつけたそのなんて言ったらいいんだろうな、すごく紳士的なというかコミュニティリーダー的プレイをするキャラクターと完全に悪のプレイヤーキラーをやるキャラクターを2つ作ってどっちもものすごい遊んでたし、やっぱりその MMORPG っていうゲームがどう作られているのか、どういったエンジニアリングが必要なのかっていうのもものすごいそこで勉強させてもらったと思います。もうその頃からはコンソールと同じぐらいの比重で PC でゲームをかなり遊ぶようになってたので、自分で PC パーツ買ってきて組み立てたりしてたし、でやっぱりそのあたりで FPS もかなりプレイし始めてたし、特に 3DMMO のスタートであるエヴァクエスト、その後プレイをし始めて、当時エヴァクエストのパッケージを日本で手に入れるのが本当に大変で、出張で東京に来た時に秋葉原をね時間を作ってゾンビのように店をこううろうろして、エヴァクエストってゲームないですか、エヴァクエストってないですかって。
Yoshida-san would embark on a career in games that would eventually see him joining Square Enix to work on the Dragon Quest series. Though he wasn't working on the Final Fantasy team, he was part of the umbrella group that was allocating programmers to various projects. He didn't have granular visibility on FF14, but he knew the team was struggling. I asked from his perspective as a producer where he thought the game's problems were coming from.
まあわかんない、これ広報にカットされるのかもしれないけど、クリスタルツールズって呼ばれるミドルウェアを全社でその作ろうとしていたので、腕のいいプログラマーが全部そのチームに各なんだろうゲームラインから招集されて、そのメインプログラマーがみんないないっていう状態になってしまったので、どのプロジェクトもものすごい大変な時期だった。まあオリジナルの14がああなってしまった理由の一つでもあるかなとは思いますけど、さらに2つ大きな問題がそこに絡まっていて、スクエアエニックスその全体にプレイステーション2のジェネレーションで本当に世界一クオリティ、グラフィックスのクオリティが高い、そしてゲームエクスペリエンスがものすごく詰まったゲームっていうのをたくさんリリースしたので、本当にこうなんていうんだろう、ある意味自信過剰にもうなっていた時期で、自分たちが世界一だし、自分たちのグラフィックスこそが世界一だし、その作り方はその自分たちにしかできない。だからなんだろう、でも超巨大な成功体験って やっぱり足かせというかにもなる例だと思うんですけど、ものすごくおごってた、まあ悪い言い方をすればおごってた時期だったと思うんですね。まず例えると、その刀を作る刀匠のような職人たちが本当にたくさんいて、彼らが一つずつを手作りで作って世界一のクオリティを作り上げていたんだけど、実は世界は、まあ、特にその北米を中心にテクノロジーでそれをカバーするっていうところをずっと追求してきた時期で、プレイステーション3の世代になった瞬間にテクノロジーの方がそれを上回るっていう時期が来たせいで、作り方を変えようとはしないし、だけどテクノロジーも追いつけないっていうことから、さらにそれを知ってるはずのプログラマーたちはミドルウェアの制作に行ってるっていう状態で、でもグラフィックス作ってるそのアーティストたちは自分たちの作り方こそが世界一だと思ってるので、古い作り方で引き続きものすごく負荷のかかるやり方でアセットを作ってたので、もうそれらが絡まってっていうのが、まあもう一つの大きな、さっき2つあるって言った問題の1つ目がそれですね。
Which also explains their 10-year dev cycle on everything
い
else.
つ行かない時でもとても大切なものだとは思うんですけど、そこにやっぱり超巨大な成功体験をしたっていうこと自体が乗っかってきちゃうと、その自分たちの作るゲームこそがベストであって、他をあんまり見る必要がないっていう時期でもあったんじゃないかなと思っていて、例えば当時世界多分 MMORPG を知ってる人に
Yeah.
世界最大の MMORPG は何ですかって言ったら、100人に聞いたら100人がワールド・オブ・ウォークラフトって言ったはずなのに、誰もプレイしてない、開発チームが。これはワールド・オブ・ウォークラフトを知ってるか知ってないかっていう話だけの話をしてるんじゃなくて、その自分たちが世の中に対して新しいそのビデオゲームをリリースしようとするときに、ライバルになるタイトルは何だろうとか、ユーザーは今プレイヤーはどこにそのゲームエクスペリエンスの最新の状態をプレイしてるんだろうっていうのを知らないっていうのが、その感覚として僕には結構信じられない。なんでもっとみんなゲームプレイしてないの？
genuinely
だって自分
insane.
たちが
That is
今ど
unbelievable.
のあたりにいるか分かんなくなっちゃうよ。
How could you not
っていう
look
の
at
が
these other games?
まあ言いたい。で、特に14の場合に関しては、もちろんファイナルファンタジー
Let's make an
11
MMO.
の
Our
超巨大な
last one
成
came
功
out
体験っていう
8
のが
years
邪魔を
ago.
したっていう
There
の
have
もあると
been
は思うんだけど、
multiple
あの当時はエヴァ
global
クエストを徹底
like
的に
box
プレイ
office
をして、
smashing
だからこ
successes.
そ11を作った
Fuck
はずなのに、新しいレストランをオープンするときに、隣にあるレストランがどんなメニューを出していて、どんなサービスをしてるかを知らずに
It's funny how like you
回転
sometimes
させる人はいないんじゃないって。
you can think like people
So,
like
just
Yoshi P here
the
are
launch stage then of 1.0.
are like insane visionaries, and then they tell you what they came in and they fixed, and it's like,
launch, where people
oh yeah, like nobody was
anticipated
doing
that there would be
anything
negative
smart.
feedback, or were they less aware that that was going to
He has a very like grounded and
他のチームにいて
straightforward view on it, and it
すごく
all
デー
makes
タの
sense
評判が
why
悪い
he
って
was
いうの
able
は
to fix
ネ
the
ットで
fucking game
ニュースは
Yeah.
見
when
ま
no
し
one
た
else did anything
ただ
productive.
Also, to be clear, I wasn't like trying to insult him. I'm just saying like it's
No,
funny.
I agree with you completely. Is what I'm saying. Like
まあテスト、ストレステストをやってるけど、プレイヤーの方は遊びたいからやっぱりサーバーが落ちるとやっぱりすごく
Those things are fucking
文句を言って
creepy.
当然だと
The
思いま
fuck
す
are
し、
those?
だから僕もやっぱり11
I
を
think
作っ
there
た
are
チーム
still
だか
some of those mobs
ら、ま
in
あ
the
そう
game.
は言っても11のやっぱり完成度が高いので、そこと比較をしてあの機能がないこの機能がないっていう話を
Thank you,
して
Omni.
るのかなっ
Thanks,
ていう
thanks,
ふう
Omni.
に
Thank you.
思ってた。僕は僕自身
I
の
have to say
開
thank you
発
to
が
Omni.
忙しかったのもあって、ただそれも少しずつ収まっていくんだろうなっていうふうに僕は当時は見てた。ただ別の角度、今度はそのオリジナルの14チームの中のその視点としては、このままだと本当にまずいもっと時間をかけて品質を上げないとっていう、もちろん声を上げる人たちもいたけれど、会社ってまあ全体の判断としては、ファイナルファンタジー11のスタートもそうだったと。機能たくさんなかったし、ものすごくネガティブなフィードバックもたくさん来たけど、パッチでどんどん直していって11は完成したんだから、 14も大丈夫だと、最初は絶対こうなんだっていう風に。
I fired this up the other day and I forgot how fucking bizarre the character.
Yeah, you don't get a
Here
good
is-
look at your fucking character while you're making it.
No.
It's wild.
And for some reason, they all do this like catwalk thing. They all have their own like theme song and they have to strut their little stuff on the catwalk.
Yep.
ベータを終わらせてリリースへ踏み切ったっていうのが当時のジャッジだったって、僕はチームに入ってからインタビューをしてそれを確認したので、チームの中ではやっぱり議論はあったそうです。あのままじゃダメ、まずいっていう話は。ただ最終的なジャッジは今お話しした通り、11の時もそうだった。でも11だってずっとパッチを続けて、ああなったじゃないかと。
Eventually, corporate realized that this wasn't usual launch problems, so they called on a few select members of the team to create a task force. This task force would research what changes the game needed and the resources the development environment would require to do the work. Members of that team would talk to Yoshida-san about their worries after hours. His thoughts were that the current organizational structure would need to be modified if the team was going to make the changes required. In October of 2010, Yoshida-san talked to the then Square Enix president Yoichi Wada and suggested they initiate a company-wide emergency to get the team the resources they needed. Wada-san spent a few days talking to the 14 development team about their concerns, and while a lot of the team had suggested that the current task force was in fact up to the task, some members of the 14 team had pleaded to have Yoshida-san join the project to help. And so it transpired that in late November, corporate took the decision to remove Hiromichi Tanaka from the team and move Nobuaki Komodo from director to lead designer. Both of their vacant positions would be filled by Yoshida-san. At that time, he was leading a team that was working on an original IP for Square Enix. He was disappointed to leave that team, but excited for the opportunity to work on one of the company's crown jewels, a numbered Final Fantasy game. So, he got right to work.
やらなきゃいけないことが当時3つあると思ってて、順番にやってったんですけど、まずそのチームに、オリジナルのチームにトップが変わります。で、あとそのタスクフォースメンバーもそのまま開発コアとしてリードに入りますっていう当然話をしなきゃいけない全チームに。ただ僕はドラゴンクエスト側のゲームを開発することが多かったので、そのほとんどのスタッフを知らないというか、顔と名前ぐらいは知ってるスタッフはいたけど、その一緒に仕事したことがある人がほとんどいなかったので、まず「Say hello」っていうところからで、一度はみんな仕事したことがないからどんな仕事をする人間なのかを見てくれればいいよってまずで、こいつダメだと思ったらチームを抜けて構わないからっていう話を最初にして、一緒に仕事してみよう。でも1回はいいよねって。でそれでダメだと思ったら本当すぐ抜けて構わないから3ヶ月ぐらいまず一緒にやろうよっていう話を僕スピーチでした記憶があります。でもう1回チャレンジするよ。当然その時申請するなんて話はまだ計画がなかったので、とにかく立て直しをやるよと、ギブアップはしないよっていう話をした時に、僕を知ってる何人かはよしやるぞっていう人たちと、もういい、もう無理だよっていう人たちと、なんだよこの急な体制変更って言って怒ってる雰囲気の人たちとっていうのが大体のその時の雰囲気でしたね。そんな中で今も14のサウンドディレクターやってる祖健がその話をしてた時と大きなホールだったんですけど、2階のサウンドブースで僕のマイクの調整とかやってくれてて、その祖健があいつだけですよやり直すぞっていうか、そのリベンジするぞって言ったらガッツポーズしてたのはあいつだけです。今でも覚えてますよ。2階席でおっしゃーってやってたんで、あいつ。
That's so fucking fundamentally
so
so good.
He just went through a year of hell, and now he's asking us to go through a year and a half of hell to this point that might, be another failure, because no one had taken a game and rebuilt it in this manner before. So basically, he's saying you just have to trust me, and you could waste another year and a half of your life, and it could be a failure, and but you're gonna have to believe me on this one. And so a lot of people are like, I can't do this anymore. I don't know, and I can understand that because again, it was.
Okay, that is their audio. I was like, who's shuffling chairs? And
Yeah, it was shot in the office.
right, yeah, I guess someone came into the room they're in.
It was a gamble. But then on the other hand, there were, I mean, a lot of us, you know, myself included, but I mean, a lot of people on the team that were like, no, I mean, we worked so hard on this and we did our jobs the best that we could, but for a lot of, you know, reasons, some circumstances that were out of our control, you know, decisions made by higher ups, decisions made by other teams that have, you know, affected our work, and nothing that we could do about it. But we had put our all into it, and we were invested in the project. We still believed in the project. To have someone from the outside come in, and not just come in to say, okay, you know, forget it, we're just going to do it my way or the highway. He's like, you know, he asked our opinions. He laid out a roadmap. He gave us a vision and a hope. And it, even though it seemed like it would be difficult to achieve, it didn't seem inconceivable.
Yoshi P knew there was no time to wait. He worked with corporate to make sure the team had time off, both for them to relax, but also to give him time to build his new vision, to do research playing other MMOs, and to help draft his plan, to deliver the vision and how the team was going to do it. They had very little time to fix this game, so once they started, the specifications document would have to be watertight. And as captain of the ship, he needed to be able to answer every question the team may have, quickly.
Yoshida-san was now at the helm of his first Final Fantasy, and as an avid MMO fan, he was looking forward to getting in there and fixing it. What he couldn't have known at this stage was the scale of the job ahead of him, that no matter how much they patched Final Fantasy XIV Online, they couldn't ever fix it. What they'd have to do was something that no developer had ever done, to rebuild an entire MMO while the original version was still running.
I don't think that
That's so
they
crazy.
realized immediately that
Yeah,
it was something
it's insane
that,
that
couldn't
this
be solved via patching. I think
happened,
they still believed
let
that,
alone
you
was
know, if we patch
successful.
it, it'll be fine. And it wasn't until they reevaluated and then brought in, you know, the new blood. Yoshida-san came in and told them, okay, yeah, this is not something that can be patched. If we want to fix this, we're going to have to take a drastic step.
Yoshida spent 7 weeks researching and returned with 2 options for corporate. It was then he realized that it would be impossible to convert the current game into an MMO that could last the test of time. Ultimately though, this was a decision that corporate had to make. So he returned with not 1, but 2 plans. Plan A and Plan B. During this meeting, he explained that Plan A would be to patch the game and make it
Fucking
more
Dissidia.
playable, but that ultimately the game would never really satisfy players, and though Square Enix may make their money back, the damage to the online brand would be catastrophic. And then there was Plan B.
今のファイナルファンタジー4、当時のオリジナルのファイナルファンタジー14をパッチを当てて、そのできる限りポジティブに遊べるものにしながら、裏で全く新しいそのファイナルファンタジー14をもう一度作り直すっていうのがプラン B。
It's madness.
で、まあその話だけを聞くと、まあそんなバカなってなるので、
There is a reason
どうやって
I
それを
will
達成するか
trust this man with
チー
anything.
ムを
Yeah.
2つに分けて、でどういったそのマネジメントスタイルでそれをやるのかで、大体発売時期はプレイステーション3版をリリースするっていうのがプレイヤーとの約束だったので、プレイステーション3の寿命が来る前にリリースしなきゃいけないので、2012年年末から2013年中には絶対リリースできるこの計画であればっていうプレゼンテーションをして、リスクは高い、ただ当然そんなことをしたことはないし、ゲーム業界でしかも同じタイトルで作り直してるから、成功うまくいったとしても成功するかどうかはわからない。ただ少なくともやっぱりファイナルファンタジーってクレイジーだねとかすごいことするねとか少なくとも自分たちがミスしたことを認めて信頼を取り戻そうとしたっていう努力は見てくれてる人は多分見てくれるだろう。だからどっちをチョイスするかは会社に任せる。ただどっちであっても全力でやるよっていう話をプレゼンテーションして、まあ、結果的にはね、プラン B でって言ってくれたんで。
It's crazy that they did.
Yeah.
I mean, normally the C-suite isn't known for, you know, making good decisions. Or really,
Final Fantasy
that wouldn't have looked like a good
14
decision to
1.0
anybody.
was in a state of disarray.
No.
Square Enix had decided to suspend subscriptions to help
It-
ease the
but like
negativity
really
around
they
the
were
game,
put in a
while the
position of
PS3
choose
version was
guaranteed
indefinitely
loss
postponed.
or
For the next 2 years,
risky
Yoshida-san and his
gamble.
team would work
Yeah.
tirelessly on not one, but 2 MMOs, patching the original 1.0 to fans' expectations while secretly working on a brand new version of Final Fantasy XIV. In our next episode, we focus on that 2-year period and tell the incredible story of the falling moon of Dalamud, the
Okay,
death
so
of
the trailer should be
1.0,
after
and
part
the
2.
birth of a new Eorzea.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, since we didn't even get to part 2, we'll just make that playlist next time.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was awesome. Also, oh, go ahead.
I genuinely think this is one of the most interesting stories in gaming from a like corporate perspective, and I'm like so grateful that Square Enix got hit up by an outside source, and this was very early on in NoClip's
Yeah.
run, so it's not like they had a huge bank of stuff. Danny had a lot of stuff from working at GameSpot where he was doing similar things on a smaller scale, and they still were like, yeah, okay, come in and interview everyone, and they let everyone be as candid as they let them be
Yeah.
to like make this documentary.
Yeah. I'm really glad they did. It was super interesting. And I'm really excited for the rest of the story. And NoClip,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's-
Danny has done like incredible stuff as well. Like I've loved many things that NoClip has put out.
And anyone who is not already familiar with NoClip, like there is a now like seemingly limitless amount of documentaries out there on so many games, and he has such a knack for finding the stories that like it's incredible. Like the run they did embedded with Supergiant through the full development of Hades 1 is an incredible watch. The Half-Life stuff is an incredible watch. Like there's so many good NoClip documentaries.
Absolutely, yeah. Awesome stuff. Let's definitely figure out. Just let me know whenever works for you, and we'll do.
Yeah,
the next
I'm sure I
couple
can
parts.
find someday this week.
Yeah, and we can.
I don't know if it'll be Monday, but maybe.
Okay. Yeah, and we can dedicate a more full time to it as well, so we can have more chat time. And also, along the way, I remembered I saw a character name the other day that really made me go like, okay, yeah, this is good. I'm glad I'm in here. I saw somebody named Goober Notorial.
Yep, hell yeah. The traditional the community standard reaction, at least in my experience, is when you see a wild chat name like that in whatever like link shell you're in. So for like you, it would be the boyish one, is just to like target the person, type less than T greater than, and then space, and then start typing found, and then hit tab until you get the auto translate for found it. And like for 15 years now, my instant reaction anytime I see a wild name is whatever link shell I am chatting in, I immediately do that.
Amazing.
No, I do not have the fried chicken emote because there are like, I want to say like a dozen Jollibees in the United States, and 10 of them are in California, and 2 of them are in New York. And that came out on a weekday in the middle of the day, and there was no way I was going to be able to go to Manhattan on a day that I was working to get Jollibee.
Ripperino. All right. Well, this was lovely, Dave, once again.
Yeah. I'm excited for parts 2 and 3 because they like that's where the real like myth of all of this starts to build. It's Like
Yeah.
them actually doing this plan that they've just laid out, and then like the success of releasing it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. This has whet my appetite. I'm very excited for the rest of the story.
Yeah, I'm Danny did such a tremendous job with this one. I'm so thrilled that it exists and is out there and documents this, because it is a like fundamentally unbelievable thing to have happened.
Yeah. And thank you for dragging me back to it again. It's funny.
The only joy I have in this life.
Well, yeah, I mean, I didn't make it easy. I mean, this is like years later returning once again to the same thing, but you know, your persistence pays off. So
Listen, I don't try and shove it down someone's throat if they haven't expressed an interest. But when you started playing it originally and seemed to be enjoying it, I was like, I need to bully Co into getting like through this.
yeah. Hey, and you were not alone either. There's many present here in chat this evening who did very similar levels of bullying.
We're sickos. We're sickos for it. The only way we can feel anymore is to have someone we care about also experience the story.
It's starting to make sense. I think it's really starting to make sense. Alrighty.
And like I said, it is not a bother. If you hit a dungeon, hit me up. I will log on if I can.
Yes, sir. I will let you know.
All right. Talk to you later, dude.
Have a good night, man. Alrighty. Really good stuff. And yeah, I want to figure out how to, you know, get some more Final Fantasy 11 time. I think I want to drag Nakomi back into it again as well. We were both doing it when we initially Dave was hand-holding us like 3 years ago. And also for those of you who probably like sort of were following along then, I have migrated that same character. So I'm still using that character. I didn't start over again. But I moved it over to the Crystal data center, and I am on Marlborough. That was the first time you played Blockington? That's crazy. Huh. That's awesome. That's so cool. That's fantastic. There's some things with like server population. They have to manage it because like if the server gets too congested, then there's really long queues for people to connect, and so they encourage. In fact, I think they provide incentives to try to drive people to move to other data centers or to create their characters on other data centers, stuff like that. It's just server management stuff is what it is, right? I think that's the case. I moved over to Crystal because that's just where Dave and a majority of the people I was talking to have their characters. So but yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. I think this was really great. It's always lovely to have Dave join us, particularly with his wealth of knowledge and experience with Final Fantasy XIV in this case. And I'm really looking forward to part 2 of this. So whenever we get that worked out, we will continue through the rest of this documentary. And yeah, I'm definitely back on the Final Fantasy XIV train to some degree. I don't know how it's going to go. I've been poking at it offline, essentially, not on stream. But you know, maybe I'll pick a night or something that is the night that I do Final Fantasy 14 on stream every week or something like that. We'll see. I have no idea. And then as far as Enjoyers Committee, let's work that out in... Well, I should work it out now. I should say what we're going to do. Oh, yeah. Beer has a list here. Underwater, Deep Star 6, Leviathan, Abyss, and Sphere. Boy, oh boy. I feel like I should choose some that I haven't seen. The Abyss would be like a movie I would recommend. The others, Sphere, I think I've seen once, and I don't think it's, I don't know, I don't think it's particularly amazing, but I don't think it's bad either. The other three, I don't know as much about. I think another night we should maybe have more of a discussion about which to do, because I'm afraid if I just whip off like this is the cool work at the end of this stream, that people won't know that it happens and then we won't get to it. But I also feel like the same problem exists if I just say let's discuss it in the Discord channel. Fuck it. I'm just gonna say let's do Underwater and Deep Star 6 double feature from the top of the list for this coming Saturday. All right. Enjoyers Committee, Underwater, Deep Star 6 double feature. That's the plan. That's the cool work. And I will see y'all tomorrow for Sunday Gun Day.